In this video, I want to talk about scaling up, specifically how to grow a successful digital agency or consultancy. And we're going to work through 4 key phases, if you will. The first is standardize, the second is optimize, the third is grow, and then the fourth is scale. And I want to break down kind of high level what each means and some things that need to happen inside of each of those phases for you to advance to the next one and achieve the almighty scale. And by the way, if you stay till the end, I think you're going to be surprised with how we look and define scale. So let's start with standardize. What does standardize mean? Standardize means we're standardizing the happy path. And by standardizing the happy path, we are actually going to lower the stress in our own life. And the people that go from not knowing us to getting the result is going to be an experience that they actually enjoy. And it's all going to come down from simplification and really around 3 components. And those 3 components are first, how we attract our clients. How do you fill your funnel, right? And the second one is conversion. And the last one is delivery. We've all heard these before. This is fundamentally the client journey. Now, inside of attraction, what we want to focus on is the 3 different types of traffic. How do we get in front of people? Well, we have paid traffic like ads. We have organic. If you're watching this on YouTube, like this would be an example of organic content. You're creating very specific content for your audience that educates them and demonstrates your expertise and has pathways to the next step of the client journey. And then the last piece of attraction is really referral and or affiliate. We need to standardize how we attract people. So your standardized way of attraction might be I run ads into a video sales letter, into a phone call, or I run ads into a Facebook group where I'm putting content in every single week. And from there, I'm harvesting lead opportunities and having them book a call, which leads us to conversion. The next piece that we need to standardize is how we convert. And what this means is how do you create opportunities from the audience? So the audience is what you're doing over here in the attract phase. You're building audience, and inside of conversion, we are actually going to create opportunities from that audience by creating hand-raising posts and getting people to fundamentally raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in what you have. And back to my example of, hey, maybe you have a Facebook group. Those are popular today, Facebook group. And from the Facebook group, you get people to book a call. Maybe you do really well speaking from stage and you get people to book a call from there. Maybe you do a YouTube video. Maybe you do video sales letter or a webinar. Whatever it is, you need to standardize that because it can't be all of them. It's going to be one of them, hence standardize. So we have a standardized way of converting those people, basically creating opportunities from the audience. The last piece is your delivery. Well, so what are you delivering? Are you delivering a one-on-one consulting day? Are you delivering a 10-week program? Are you delivering a 2-day intensive? The key is when it comes to standardizing, especially if you're under $1 million, you should really only have 1, tops 2 delivery vehicles to get you to $1 million. So I wouldn't have all of these things, but you need to ask yourself, what is your delivery model? And we want to standardize that so that you can say, hey, I'm getting in front of eyeballs every single month using paid ads, and those people end up joining my Facebook group. And from my Facebook group, I'm extracting a call, and then I'm selling my one-on-one consulting package or my service or whatever. Okay, that's standardized. From there, now let's look at the optimized path, which for me, there's 2 pieces of that. We'll go A and B. And the first piece is really, we're looking at where you're at now. That's my little location pin. And it's like, what is the journey to getting to the destination, which is where people buy, right? So now that we know how we've standardized, we can actually map and plot this journey out. Because when we plot the journey out, aka the customer experience, like what does the client do? What does the client experience? And then what is it that you do during that experience? So like if we had this journey and then you take right here, this is what you do from left to right. And then up here on this other color is what the client experiences. And so there are certain things that you're going to be doing throughout this journey, and then also certain things that your client is doing and or experiencing along the way. And having that documented and mapped out is really, really helpful because that allows us to actually do the optimization, because we know now all the different touch points and experiences are both for us and our prospects going through it. So once we have these mapped out, we can look at any one of these spots along the journey and really go through each one of them systematically from left to right. And this is the B part, upgrades. What are 1 or 2 things that we can spend less than 30 minutes doing to make this thing run smoother? For example, if you're historically going back and forth trying to find a time that works for you inside of a consultation, why not give them a booking link that lets them pick from a pre-selected amount of call slots on your calendar that you already know work from you? That is a sub 30-minute upgrade to your process if you don't already have it. And if you already have that, there's probably dozens more. And inside of this optimization process, we want to find these small 30-minute upgrades like the one I just said, and keep deploying as many of them as we can. Do as many of them as possible without having to allocate more resources. And you'll know that you're done when you can't do any more without adding more time and or more money and or more resources. Which brings us to the third phase, which is grow. Because growth requires 2 things. One of 2 things, or often both. It requires cash and it requires effort. So that's why we cycle through as many upgrades as possible until we reach the point where the only thing left to do is go with adding more cash or more effort. And so if you feel like you're in a growth phase and you're not growing, it's because you've probably chosen not to invest the cash and or the effort, especially if you've done all of the micro upgrades. And so if you feel like you're in growth mode but you're not growing, it really just means that you're not willing to spend the money or you're not willing to spend the time. Now, the thing is, what do you do with the money and the time? Often, money and or effort are going to be there to help you learn a capability. Maybe you need to now learn how to run Facebook ads because you've been, doing YouTube content into, your call funnel, and now you want to get in front of more eyeballs. And so now you need to invest dollars to either find someone that knows how to set up Facebook ads, or maybe you need to buy a course to acquire the skill of learning how to profitably run Facebook ads. If you're not willing to spend the effort or the cash, the effort typically means that you don't have the capability. And so we got to go invest in the capability. And so you're not going to grow unless you write that check to hire that person or to invest in that course, to acquire that skill, or maybe go get those new capabilities. So this is where some common actions come into play. So this might be, like I said, hire a person, which would require you to fundamentally write a check or start paying their fee, or acquire a skill. Maybe you need to join a program or buy a course. Maybe you need to learn how to be better at sales. And so you hop into a program to acquire sales skills. And the coach obviously isn't going to do the sales for you, but they're going to deliver the result, which is you learning how to do sales. So you need to acquire that capability of improved salesmanship. Or maybe you hire a salesperson, depending upon where you're at in the journey, and might have to do both. Improve your sales so that you can be selling enough so that you can afford to bring in a salesperson. So that's growth. There's 2 parts of growth. There is, we'll call it front stage, and then there's backstage. The front stage is how do you get more opportunities? This is where you're looking at things like cost per lead. This is, how much does it cost to acquire a client, which is CAC. How do we get in front of enough eyeballs to get enough leads to become clients? And so there's going to be things that you need to do in order to grow at that point, right? Like you might have to invest in ads to get in front of enough eyeballs to produce enough leads that produce enough calls. Or maybe, you need to now, instead of doing 1 YouTube video a week, you need to do 1 YouTube video long form a week and daily shorts, or 2 posts a day on LinkedIn, and up the volume of the organic content that you're creating in order to grow the front stage, meaning the number of people coming in the door to you. Now, the other side of this is the backstage, which to me is asking about infrastructure. So the infrastructure is going to be looking at not just your top line revenue, but can your profit grow equally as fast? And so you might be investing in systems. You might be harnessing automation. You're probably getting better at delegation. These are all things that are how you're going to grow the backstage of your business. Now, as always, as we grow our revenue, we've all heard the term revenue is vanity and profit is sanity. We want to make sure that our profit is also going up, not just our revenue. That's where we start to enter the conversation of scale. But as you're going and making these improvements, getting in front of more eyeballs, adding more infrastructure, again, there's kind of a optimization that continue in this stage for a little while. And you're going to kind of ask like, hey, like what's the next capability that I'm missing? And we have to go add that. That capability might be front stage, might be backstage. Now we come to what everyone talks about, scale. Here's where I think I want to kind of differ from what a lot of people say. Scale does not equal a destination. Scale is not 7 figures. It's not 100K a month. It's not 50 appointments a week. What I want you to decide is, what does scale mean to you? You have to define what scale actually means, because everyone defines it differently. And yes, despite there being textbook definitions of scale, you almost need to like clarify when you hear someone say scale, like what do you mean? What does scale mean to you? Because sometimes I know people that talk about scale in reference to optimizing for people. I know some people that talk about scale as scale doesn't even happen until you're 10 to 30 million. So my invitation to you is, if you are trying to build a successful business, one that is sustainable, profitable, and healthy, at some point you will need to define what scale means to you. Just like you need to define what success means. Meaning when I do X, I get this Y result, and Y is an exponential return. You have to define what scale means to you, because if you don't, you're gonna go through this whole process. You're gonna go through standardize, optimize, grow, only to adopt someone else's definition of the thing that you're trying to do. So you're gonna go through a lot of effort to get to be scale ready, and you wanna design it for you. So those are the 4 phases: standardize, optimize, grow, and scale. If you'd like to learn how we help our clients do that really quickly, I'll drop a link to a free training in the description walking you through our process of adding multiple income streams that are high leverage, high profit, using services and skills that you already have. Check out that training below. And in the meantime, go check out this video where I talk about the 9 steps to your first 6-figure month.